what you do does not define who you are. Your morality defines who you are.
Welcome to The Story Thinker, a Webtoons and Witcher podcast for superfans with scene-by-scene analysis. Featuring sharp co-hosts for a fuller picture, we dive deep into character psychology, relationships, and theories. We'd love it if you could like, subscribe, comment, and rate us on all podcast platforms and social media. For bonus content, you can support The Story Thinker on Patreon. Let's begin. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 120 of Midnight Poppyland. And now we are here with Patty and Eileen, who is a new co-host. So welcome, Eileen.
Hi. Yay. Thank you so much for having me over.
You're welcome. If you'd like to introduce yourself briefly to the audience, feel free.
Oh, hey guys, I am Eileen. I've been following this story pretty much since it started. I love it. A few of my friends did a lot of groveling to get me to lose my podcast cherry, and what a better place to do it than here. And so a lot of groveling was involved, probably as much as our boy is going to be doing after this episode. Mm-hmm. He will need to do lots of groveling. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh.
Well, we're so happy we could be your first.
Thank you. I'm excited about my first experience. It's always special, they say.
Special or awkward? I don't know. It could be both.
Yeah. All I gotta say, Mindy, you better be ready for us. It's gonna be a wild ride.
It's gonna be a wild ride. We have been going off the deep end with this episode. Yes. Basically, like since she came back, it's just been amazing. It's just like one hit after the other, you know. She's going for the jugular for this one, and I like it. I sense like a freedom in her work, and it really shows on the story. So I think I would say this has been like my favorite episodes so far.
Awesome. It's definitely very exciting. Love. Great. All right, Patty, start us off.
All right. Okay. So we start the episode off. Tora is playing his guitar, and there's like lots of swooshing motions and things like that. So he is definitely playing that sucker like crazy. I'm like, dude, you're going to break a string here. And Poppy, oh my God, this girl has never been to a rock concert in her life. She's like, no. Is that some heavy metal song cover? Joe's guitar has such a soothing tone, but that melody's so angry and harsh. Gee, I wonder why he'd be feeling angry, right? And so we see in this next panel that he's singing.
Oh my God!
Right?
He's been holding out on us. He told us that he played a little. That sir, that is not a little. You are a full-blown musician. You have lied to us.
Right, especially since he told her, I can't hold a tune to save my life. Sure, dude.
Well, we don't know what it sounds like, but Poppy isn't covering her ears, so let's assume it's good.
Fair enough. I am going to assume that since he has a deep, husky voice, even when he's trying to be high-pitched, I am going to assume he has that like growly, gravelly, like just instantly incinerates Panny's voice. Okay, that's what we're going with.
Do you remember at the height of the Twilight Peak when Robert Pattinson sang, and nobody knew that it was him because his voice was so different than his normal voice, but it was exactly that. It was just like a very deep coarse, like husky voice. Like that's how I imagine him singing. And I think also he's like singing like very lowly, like not like it's just more, I'm just gonna play this because, you know, it's part of the mood. Like I don't want to talk. Let's just
for sure. Well, because you know, he just caught Quincey not too long ago trying to like snoop on them. So I'm sure he's not trying to attract attention again.
I mean, he's playing guitar, so that's gotta have its own decibel pitch.
Oh, for sure. And so Poppy, she's like, now, hey, wait a minute.
She's like blushing, by the way. You were right about incinerating panties. She's very admiring of him.
All the badumps. We're getting all the badumps.
Yes. And she is gonna break the freaking blush scale here. Like, I can only imagine how much Lily had to like use red in this episode. Like, it was everywhere. So she's like totally beat red faced, and she's like, so you can sing? What song is that? And like, she's just losing it. She's like, and he sounds so good. What the heck?
Never mind. She affirms he sounds good.
Yeah. And she says, but Damon said he's tone deaf. And really, in actuality, we get this little pop in of Damien, who's like the actual tone deaf one. Which we learned in the Moonbright arc that he can't sing to save his life.
Yes, we did.
Oh my gosh, that picture of Tora just on the guitar.
His little smiley face. Look at him, he kicks his little lip up. And she asks him, what song is it? And he says it's Three Doors Down, Kryptonite, which again, like, every elder millennial knows this song. I'm sorry, Gen Z, you have been left behind on this one.
I am sorry, Gen Z. Yeah, no. It's that's a specific song from a specific generation. That we can all, basically relate to. And I thought it was so cute that she actually got a smile out of him.
Yeah.
That little crack, that little dimple is like, okay.
For sure. And like, because like a second later, she's saying in her thoughts as he continues to sing the song, his voice is so melodious, but he sounds tired and sad.
So I want to talk about why he would be sounding tired and sad, and about the lyrics, because this song, as you pointed out, Patty, Lily put together a playlist a long time ago with Midnight Poppyland songs, and I have that playlist saved on my Spotify, and I listened to it a bazillion times, and this song is now one of my favorites. So if I want to read some of the lyrics, because it's 100% applicable to Tora's life. Goes, well, I'll sing it. Well, I took a walk around the world. Well, my teeth, not travel time. I left my body lying somewhere in the sand of time, but I watched the world float to the dark side of the moon. I feel there's nothing I can do. If I go crazy, then will you still call me Superman? If I'm alive and well, will you be there and holding my hand? I'll keep you by my side with my superhuman might, kryptonite. You called me strong, you called me weak, but still your secrets I will keep. You took for granted all the times I never let you down. You stumbled in and bumped your head. If not for me, then you'd be dead. I picked you up and put you back on solid ground. And we kind of know, I think it's okay to say this, that this is his relationship with Vincent, where he finally really like cut the cord with Vincent. And all along, Vincent replaced his father. He was his father figure, and he did everything for him. He was his dog, as he would call him, and he just did everything for him, and he was the strong one, and he took down who he needed to take down. But now at the end of the day, but that relationship was not reciprocal, and Tora is expressing his anger and resentment at Vincent through this song.
He's really grieving through this song quite a bit. And one of the things that I remember Lily said on Patreon was, she's like, read these lyrics and now go back and look at every interaction he has ever had with Vincent. And like, all I could think about was episode 36, when he calls him son, or you could have been my son. And I'm like, just twist the blade a little bit more, Lily. just twist it in there really good.
Just a little bit more.
Oh God, that killed me.
I think it's also it's an interesting song because it can also be seen from her perspective. Especially the part where you call me strong, you call me weak, still your secrets I will keep. And I think at some level she could also relate to that, because sometimes he does call her weak, but at the same time he recognizes how strong she is and how brave she is. And how in a way she's also a keeper of his secrets, and in a way he's her kryptonite and she is his. If we were to take it in a literal sense.
Oh, for sure. 100%, for reasons we will find out
soon enough.
Goodness. So he's continuing to sing and she's just watching him. And like, if you look at this panel where she's just watching him, that is some serious concern for sure. She's like, what's going on with him? And then we pan to what she's seeing, and he just looks really distraught in that panel. where he's holding his guitar and singing. Like, again, I think, you know, beyond the grief, you know, there's a lot of anger, right? Because I'm recalling what Quincey was saying in the episodes leading up to this, that, you know, we looked up to you, Dad. We both did. Right. And so they had a very different idea of what that father-son relationship would be like. And, you know, it's not uncommon for people that are stuck in a situation like Tora is to kind of get a little bit of Stockholm syndrome with their captors, right?
Absolutely.
And I think, you know, when he finally, you know, like you were saying, Mindy, like cut him off, that was like that hope that he might have carried that things would be different was gone. And so I think, to me, that's what I see here in this panel.
He's also seeing the consequences of everything that he did for Vincent up till now.
Yeah.
It's like, now it's coming to a head where he's like, okay, there's a DVD out there that could get me killed and I can't find it. And everything I did, not only does he not have the relationship, but he's about to die for that. I think that's what he's thinking.
Yeah.
I think he never thought that it would be so blatant that there was something about him in the notebook. And I think it also puts into perspective, you know, everything that he has been trying to do up until this point, which is to keep, basically he's leading two separate lives. You know, at the beginning of the comic, I always felt that he had kind of given up, you know, that he was just existing just to exist. And then here comes this little light, you know, this little spitball of fire, and completely changes his perspective. And I think one of the amazing things is that she makes him question, you know, is there another way for me to live? Sometimes I wonder if there's another way for me to live. And I think he coming into the realization that this is not, you know, it's a mixture of two things, because this is not the life that I want to lead, but this is also not how I want to go out either.
Yeah.
And I think that dynamic inside himself of choosing, what do I want? What do I want to do? Because obviously right now where I am is not, you know, it's not working for me.
Yeah. He's really stuck in emotional purgatory right now.
Yes.
He's
and
not
I think
sure what to do.
Leading up to this moment, I was talking with another of the girls, and the last episode was so pivotal for me, because you see him just basically shrouded in darkness. I remember reading the episode and thinking that she was walking into the lion's den, you know, kind of like a tiger den, like everything is dark, everything is you know, very somber, very, you can't really see anything, everything is full of shadows. And then all of a sudden you see like little glimpses of light, hinting that, you know, his emotional state. And when she looks at him, like she can see his aura, like he's not ready to open up, he's completely closed off. And yet she gets into the bed. And that for me was such a pivotal moment of her lying in the metaphorical bed.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's like, I made my bed and now I'm gonna lay in it and I'm gonna stay here with you. I mean, girlfriend has been reading him for filth since she came into that room. Like she has been, that hamster brain is just firing left and right. And I think it's so amazing because this episode we have 3 different things that are happening simultaneously. And I think it's very important to recognize them, because first we start with her stream of consciousness. So that's one thing that is happening. And the second thing that is happening is their interaction in real time.
Yeah.
Up until a certain point. And then we get another thing added that we'll get to it later. So, but you know, we start with her stream of consciousness. And I think we really need to look at that, because she proposes, you know, her thoughts are very telling of her emotions and what she's getting from him, you know?
Yeah. And I think that's why, you know, in this next panel, she decides to not let him sit alone anymore, right? She's been an observer this whole time, kind of letting him have his space, letting him process what he's going through, right? Because Tora's not one to talk through his feelings, right? Like, much as Quincey was like bugging him to go see a therapist, I get it. I've seen his type before. They don't fucking talk in the chair. It's okay, right? And sometimes you're spending 40 minutes in the chair and they don't say a goddamn word. But I love this because she, like, Poppy got some fucking therapist superpowers here, and I'm so proud because she's like pulled back. She's just gonna let him do his thing. And then when she sees how much he's hurting, she goes in and she's like, "You are a superhero, Tora." She's reminding him of what he is worth, right?
Of the good that he has done.
Yeah, yeah. Because she's like, you know, he looks so sad and tired, as if he's been carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders, and everyone's been taking until he's all empty and shriveled up inside. So she sees that. He doesn't think that anybody recognizes this, right? Like, he gives and gives and gives, but he never asks for anything. He's never asked for a single thing in return.
And it ties up to what Quincey said, you know, that, you know, Tora, you can't save everyone.
Exactly.
You know? And I think that's a burden that he carries, and why he's so adamant in having this moral code. Like, I know this is my life and I know that I have to follow orders, but within that space, I'm going to try to do everything my way, like to still have some semblance of control over his life. And I love that what she does, because she knows that he's more physical. He expresses more in a physical way. And I love that not only does she verbally validates everything that she has done, but she also goes to him and hugs him. You know, it's like the physical connection, like, I'm here. And it reminded me of the episode where she's in the Irish street, and that she's coming into the alleyway. And she's running, and he's like, he stops her dead flat, and he's like, stand your ground, I'm right here. And they get into that connection, and he holds her hand, and now I feel like she's doing the same for him, like, stand your ground, I'm right here.
Oh,
that's beautiful.
Eileen, you're gonna make me get all verklempt.
I'm telling you, I came ready, girl. I mean, I know we're gonna get spicy soon, so
that's
I need to get all the angst out.
It's okay. We got more angst coming.
Yeah, for sure.
But I like how she, you know, I love what you pointed out about her physicality, how she's just like, she's going in for it, right? Like, no hesitation at all. And she's reminding him, like, you're a hero to me, to Luis, to Quincey, to Q, to Erdine, Jacob, and all your little bros, and Mr. Lamb and Benjamin. It's like, she's trying to remind him, because of course she knows what he does for a living now. She knows that he probably is trying to make up as much as he can for all of the people that he's killed. Right? Like, I've talked about this before, but he really has that karmic score sheet in the back of his head. And, you know, he's trying to do as much good as he can while he's still on this earth, you know? And so, like you were saying earlier, Eileen, that he basically gave up on life and was just like, I'm just going to do this. You know, kind of like, I'm going to go out with a fucking bang and I'm going to save as many people as I can. I could totally see him doing that.
And I want to point that what you said about him keeping the karma score sheet. We'll come back later to that, because he's very superstitious.
Oh, yes.
He's very superstitious. He's always been superstitious, and he's kind of sensitive too to the supernatural. You know, we've kind of gotten hints here and there that he's superstitious, you know, and you know, he's always like, Christ this and Christ that, and like there's and I don't know how to say it, like an esoteric vibe around him. You know, he calls it an instinct, like a sixth sense. But I think he's actually very superstitious, and he has a belief system that is so rooted within him, you know, and his moral code. And it's like he wraps himself into a bubble, and it's kind of hard to get him to let go of that and see the bigger picture.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I'm thinking also back to the time where, remember when he was having the panic attack on the bridge And like the first thing that he thought of was Poppy. And we see those panels of where they both sense each other, right? Like if you're not paying attention quite, you can think like, oh, he's just thinking of her. But no, he was sensing her and she sensed him, right? Like
the Jane Eyre, Mr. Rochester moment.
Yes. Like they are connected on a totally different plane, right? Like, and I remember from the very earliest days, Lily had said that she likes to have a little tinge of supernatural in her urban settings. So I think that's part of it here. And I can't wait for you to dive into that in the rest of this episode for sure.
Also, I wanted to say that although you're right, like it's as though he's sitting in the chair, he doesn't ever express himself verbally. But I think the fact that, especially with this panel, where he's allowing Poppy to see his pain and his emotions through his face.
Oh, yeah.
That's a form of communication that he's only allowing himself to do in front of Poppy. That does show that he trusts her enough to show her those feelings.
Absolutely. And of course, he gets the like dumbfounded look. Like I had to zoom in on this panel. He's like, what? He was not expecting the hug. Not at all.
Not at all.
Like he doesn't think of himself as being worthy of affection in this way.
No.
It's just bad. Like, and all of us can see that he's worthy, but he's shocked that anyone's even showing him that.
Yeah. Well, because he thinks that all of his relationships are transactional. Eileen and I were talking about this a couple weeks ago. Like everyone that he does things for needs him in some way, right? Or he chalks it up to, you need me. So of course I'm going to do these things, right? He doesn't think that their love is actually real.
It's like a need. I need you.
So he's like, 404 does not compute. I don't know what to do with this, right? And when she's verbalizing, you're a superhero to all of us. And of course, we know that's true. Like we've seen it time and time and time again, but he doesn't believe it.
No. I just want to point out the lighting is just stunning in this episode.
I know.
Oh my gosh, don't even get me started on the lighting, girl. Like this woman is, it's just how to convey feeling with lighting is masterful. You know, there's no other word for it. And you see it in the next panels, how the lighting really sets the mood.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's very cinematic.
Yes.
It's something that I love about this comic is it's
and the way that she does her angles and her like camera shots.
Yeah.
And it's very telling to the story, the way that she does storytelling. Like there's a purpose for that angle. There's a purpose for that camera shot.
Like the next one here where he's trying to fake her out and he says, no shit. Right. So she just told him, you're a hero to all of us. We see his face. His face is bugged out, like does not compute. Don't understand this. And then we see her face. She thinks he's just fucking around and joking because he's trying to lighten the mood here by saying no shit. Right. Like, so he's like, oh, I'm going to go back to my cocky ego. Right.
What's the word? Pushing her away with like sarcasm.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He's deflecting the humor here. And she says, where'd all that humility go now? And he's like, we get back to him and he is still bugged the fuck out. He's like, did he tell you about what I do? Like panic mode.
He can't even say it. He doesn't want to actually say, did he tell you that I'm a hitman?
So true.
He doesn't want to see himself that way. He doesn't, he wants to disassociate from it. It's repulsive for him.
Oh,
sure. He's also thinking that Quincey didn't tell her.
Yeah.
So he's assuming that her reaction, like she's still close to him, or she's not like afraid of him
because
or
she doesn't
disgusted
know.
Because she doesn't know.
Yeah.
And I think the lighting, what you were saying, Patty, on these next panels is very important.
Oh, absolutely. Right. And so she makes the question for the clan, right? She finishes the sentence for him. And the light is still shining, but notice it's waning.
It's closing in.
Right. Previous panel, she was all lit up.
Yeah. Her little light.
Yep. And then that light goes out. And she acknowledges like, yep, I know. So this is the moment we've been worried about. What were you going to say, Mindy?
She says, yep, while she tightens her arm around him and closes her eyes and reaffirms her commitment to him.
I know.
Yes. And I think it's very important for their relationship, this moment that the light goes out, because she's conveying that I know your darkness and I'm willing to stay here.
Yeah.
In your darkness with you. And for him, that I don't think he has ever had anyone in his life just sit there in his darkness with him and accept him as he is.
Yeah. Yeah. He's, and she's not backing down, right? He's expecting at every turn for her to back away in horror. And to run screaming from the room, right? And she's not doing that.
Nope.
Beautiful. And I'll continue from here. And his face when he hears that is just so poignant. And she can't see his face, so I think that's why he's allowing himself that. But he's so touched and in shock that she would do this for him.
Yeah.
Oh, I think is it the most emotional we've seen on his face, or definitely high up there?
It's up there. He doesn't emote with his facial expressions a whole lot.
No. I kind of got shame also.
Yeah.
From his look. Like there's a shame in his eyes, like I'm ashamed.
Yeah.
Like this is out there. She knows, and I'm so ashamed. Like there's nothing I can say that's gonna make this better. There's no excuse. And I think
happy to see the best side of himself. So it's the last he wants to know that he does this.
Oh, by the way, I have like 4 minutes. It says time left.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. I'll continue on for a few more minutes. And so he puts the guitar aside because he's like, okay, now we're going to talk about it. And he says, and you're still here. Like, really just like, he needs affirmation. Really? Like, are you sure? Are you going to be here for me? Really? Like, he just can't believe it. And then then he flips her around and now he's hovering over her. And
oh my God,
I know it's a very poignant moment, but it's also so sexy. Oh, whoa. He's like,
I'm having trouble. I mean, if you are mad at me, boy, I'm having trouble reading that, because I mean, if you get on top of me, I don't know if you're mad, I can't see it. I can't see it.
Crazy. She's so tiny and he's so big and he's got his arms around her. Oh my God, it's just, and he's like in between her legs. It's just in every way possible.
I think it's really interesting as we go through these panels, he's sitting there saying, he's like, so you just waltz straight into my fucking room. And she's like, yep. Right. Like she's still got that, like she still can't verbalize her courage, but she has a shit ton of courage. Right. Just like you were saying, Eileen. And he says, damn it, Bobby, that was your signal to run. It's why I got Quincey to do it when I was away. Now, he's saying these things. He's telling her, run the fuck away. But he's got her pinned on the goddamn bed. Like, how's she going to run away, dude? You got to be at least 250. Like all those muscles, you got to be kidding me. She ain't going nowhere. You got her pinned. So he's like,
desires are to keep her there.
Right. His body language, like we've talked about, is where his real emotions are. And so he's like, his words are saying what his head is thinking, and his body is saying what his heart is thinking. Like, don't go.
Yep.
Oh. And then he says this line, which I think is amazing. He says, when a man tells you who he is, you better believe him. Never heard that one before. And he's staring at her straight in the face. This is like confrontation. And he says, really, like, basically, do you want me? Do you want who I am? And are you sure? And Poppy is all indignant and she rebuts. She's like, but what he does isn't who he is. Oh, I actually questioned that. I actually think what a person does reflect who they are. But let's just say Tora is a little bit forced into these circumstances. So his actions are maybe not a reflection of who he wants to be.
Yeah.
But, and I think that's so interesting. Like, where do you draw the line in a person? Because we are made by our experiences. We are shaped by our experiences. So by her basically going against him in a way, in a sense that he thinks I kill people for a living, so I'm a killer. I'm the worst there is. And she's like, no, 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 no. What you do does not define who you are. Your morality defines who you are. Your actions define who you are.
So he's got her pinned, and you know, she's getting angrier and angrier, and Tora is completely honest.
Oh yeah.
You know, after she defends him and tells him that, he says, Christ, I don't know what to do with you anymore, which is so honest. I think that's the first, like, he's not deflecting, he's just genuine.
That's exasperation if I've ever seen it. And like, I also want to point out on the previous panel, Poppy has got her leg kicked up on his ass. Like she's like, I ain't going nowhere.
That's my mine. That's my ass. She's an ass woman, and I see you, girl, because I'm an ass woman too. And that ass is fine. Lock and loaded. Let's go.
We used all of our brains in the first half of the podcast, and now you get to hear us completely devolve into piles of goo.
Yeah. There's no way not to evolve into piles of goo. And this scene is just like so hot.
And Poppy is crying.
I know. Oh God.
Like, we are trying to have a serious conversation, lady. Like, why do you have to sidetrack me like that?
Well, Poppy is sidetracked.
No, I have a one-track mind.
She's done with a serious conversation too, because she just tells him, so just kiss me all right. And she is cut off because he goes for it. And he's like, I will do so, my lady. Your word is my command. And there's the kiss. That's the sound.
It's just like her surrender. It's just like honey, you know, she's like completely with her eyes closed and her mouth open, like, take me home, daddy. I'm here.
So is he. He also
I
decided
know.
to surrender to the moment. You know, he's confused. He was angry. He was sad. He's grieving, like you said, all of it. And then he's like, okay, I got this. My girl here.
He got the best case of the fuckets you could possibly get in this moment. He's like, he's going through the stages of grieving, and guess what? There's a new stage. It's called fucking.
It was fear, flight, freeze, or
fight, flight,
and again,
freeze,
he's
and
very
fucking.
physical. Yeah. And he's very physical. So it's kind of like a normal response for him to go, you know, it's kind of like his go-to.
And
you know,
oh my
like,
God.
I have my juicy lamb in my tiger den.
Literally juicy. We have the mouth to mouth.
I know.
Yeah, he's like, fuck it, might as well. And she's just over here.
And he is watching her. I was like, ooh, him opening his eyes at that moment. I was like, sir.
And
what are you doing?
A rare moment of Tora blushing. Very
that's why you get when you get the girl of your dreams,
right?
You know, he's blushing like this boy is in love, my dear.
Oh yes.
I personally, I know there's like a lot of tropes where people like have sex on the floor. I'm not into that. A bed is great. It's soft. It's squishy. The best.
He risked the bed for this. It was worth it.
Especially when you like past the 35s, it's like, oh my God, I don't think I can do this on the bed, on a floor no more. Like,
you're like, nope.
Like my back could never. like blow my back out, but on a soft bed.
Right. Like, and let me lay there for like the next 10 hours. There.
Like, I need recovery time, my dear. Like, get me a Gatorade. I need my electrolytes. Like, I might get dehydrated. You know, there's a cramping in my leg. You know,
we
might
all
be
know.
A true story, might be not, you know, who knows. But
thankfully they are in their early to mid 20s, so they will only be a little sore in the morning.
Make the most of it, children. Make the most of it all day, every day. Go right ahead.
Oh my God. And then she tells him, don't stop. I'm like, oh Jesus Christ.
Poppyland Wilkes. Poppyland Elizabeth Wilkes. Where is this coming from? Where is this bravado coming from?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you where it wasn't. It wasn't with what's his name, Potato Face, because
hell no,
never.
She wasn't acting like this with him.
I'm telling you, Potato Face did not make her little walnut tingle. No. No, he did
Yeah,
not.
that's where it's coming from. It's a genuine reaction. She probably didn't even know that about herself. But once you're with the right person and the right
Yeah, it's just, it flows. It's natural.
And he's like,
and their attraction is so sexy, you know, like they're genuinely attracted to each other. Like it's more than chemistry. Like we know that they're compatible on an emotional level, but their chemistry is just so good.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I mean, even Quincy said from the beginning, oh, she is definitely his type.
Yeah, he likes them curvy. Like thick, juicy, and curvy.
And mouthy.
And mouthy.
Hamster.
Give me that sass.
Well,
spicy.
Now her mouth is just going, It's like a lot of voices coming out there. And she thinks to herself, well, why is she thinking at this moment?
That's what I wanted to know.
I think this is very important because I think this is her starting to spiral. And you know, Poppy is like thinking 100,000 things at the same time. You know, and he says it at one time. He's like, I hope her hamster brain, you know, that is going a mile a minute, you know, is satisfied with what I'm telling her. And I think this part is so important because as I was reading it, I read it the first time and I kind of like breezed over it. And then usually the second time that I read the episode, I kind of do like a 3D in my mind separation of the layers.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting the way that Lily positions these streams of consciousness in different parts of what is happening in real time, because it's where her mindset is. So I think for me, this was her start of spiraling, because it's a lot of information that she just got. She's still processing. She's having right now a physical reaction to him, but she's still in the back of her mind thinking about his state of mind. Because remember where we're coming from. We're coming from, she's saying, you know, he's all shriveled up inside. He has given so much to everyone. And she ends with everyone, including me. So she includes herself into this line of people that have taken and taken and taken everything from him. So this part for me is very important, what she says.
Yeah. So, right. So she's still thinking about him. And she thinks to herself, no wonder Tora's so skittish around cops and civilians. And she thinks back to Quincy saying he kills people for a living. With his gorgeous back, we must not forget Quincy is also a beautiful man. I have to say this. And how does anyone with a conscience function in society with that kind of guilt? But she recognizes he has a conscience and he feels guilty. She understands him. You know, she sees what other people don't see. Other people just see a thug, but she sees that he has a heart that cares. And then she asks him, you know, she's taking them out of the moment. And she's like, who were you saying, Tora, just now? And Tora's like, you know, he starts off by like kind of like brushing it off. No one, is just a song, don't mean anything, which is like, okay, like let's get on with it. But then he actually takes advantage of the question and does continue the conversation that they had before. And he says, but are you really not scared of who I am at all? Just kudos for asking. You know, I know it's hard for people to be honest.
He's still looking for that validation. He still doesn't believe her that she's there. She doesn't believe it, period. So he's still.
That's why he's gripping onto her so tightly. It's as if she's an apparition that's going to be gone the minute he says it with his own voice, what he does. Because like you said before, he hasn't actually vocalized it. He's afraid to.
Poor baby.
It makes it real.
And at the same time that he's asking her this, he's totally guaranteeing her not moving because he's kissing her neck.
I know.
Like you said, the body is demonstrating what he really wants.
Oh yeah.
And her eyes are closed and she is like gone, but she's still able to come back with a quip. She's like, I would have been if you didn't just use the cheesiest line on me ever.
He's such an asshole. I love it.
There's like so many things going on at once. It's like funny, it's sexy, it's angsty, it's like a mishkabobble of emotions here.
I know. But I mean, if you think about it, like, sure, I know they're doing a lot of talking during sexy time right now, but that's how they are, right? They have full on like existential conversations while they're making out and grinding like teenagers, right? Because that's what they do. Because I don't have to look at you while we're having these hard conversations. I can focus on how you're making me feel.
And did you see her hand grab his hair?
Ooh,
that hand grab.
Homegirl's gonna have a hickey in the morning.
Oh yeah,
most be like, will. Time Quincy will totally get on the side eye. Make like he's gonna like bake a cake for them or something.
Yeah.
So
and I think
I'm kind of seeing him like, did you two dingbats fuck last night finally?
Oh, I know. Listen, Quincy, I get it, honey. We feel your frustration. It'll be okay though. They will fuck eventually.
Oh my god, it's gonna take forever. Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Now about that. and then Quincy, not Quincy, Tora's like genuinely surprised. He's like, "You're scaring me now? How is that cheese?" He's insulted.
Yeah,
cheesy.
He was being like absolutely serious, so that's why he's like, "That's not cheesy. I was being so fucking real right there." And she's like laughing like it's a big joke, right? And I think I don't think for a second that she thought he wasn't being serious. I think she's doing this to kind of lighten his mood, to be like, it's okay, right? Like, because again, she's that light for him, you know? And if we look just a smidge in the background, like the red is behind Poppy, the light is behind her, right? So we're again reminded, like, she's the bright spot in his life. And she's having to constantly do this to remind him, like, it doesn't have to be all serious. But you're right, she's still spiraling in the background of her head. But she gets distracted by Dick.
Yeah. I mean, what wouldn't you?
Yes.
Wouldn't you? Like, I would be like, oh, my poor little man who has a great ass. You know?
Let me soothe you.
Let me soothe you with this, you know, with, oh my God, the big burly arms and the butt.
You said you're an ass girl. She apparently is a back girl, because she's like, his back's so broad I can barely reach around it, and she's like red but nothing. He's a really, really big boy.
I think we knew what she just felt.
Yeah.
I actually did not think about that till the second, but that's background.
Yeah. Homegirl is not talking about his back or his muscles.
No.
Oh, she's first talking about his back.
Yeah, he's talking about the other boy.
Oof.
Oh gosh. And then he laughs and he's like, damn, guess it is. Ripple. What's rippling?
It's like kind of like his muscles rippling, his muscles doing the
Oof.
motions and, you know, flexing. He loves to flex.
Like feeling
her. He does. He knows what those muscles do to her.
Yeah, she's definitely feeling it, because he's like, his skin is so smooth even with all these inks. Oh my god, she's taking advantage of that finally. And then he just goes back to kissing her neck, and she is like, whoa, it's definitely having an effect on her. Her eyes are puffing. And then he's like, I swear to God, it's those fucking novels Quincy makes me read for him. So proud. He would be so proud.
Beta reader of the year.
I bet he's thanking Quincy right now in his mind. Like, he will never accept it. Like, he will never verbally accept it. But in the back of his mind, he's like, thank you, you fucking princess. I will never tell you that you were right, but you were right.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. He's like, he wants to be the tough guy, but he's happy it worked.
And I love that he always goes for the neck. And it's like, you see that she's obsessed with his smell. And I kind of feel like that's his way of being obsessed with her smell also, because he always goes for the neck. He's like in there, like.
Well, we know somebody else from history that went for the neck, who also had fangs.
Oh.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
I know.
Like,
I know.
get up in there.
Calm down, Patty. Calm down. Calm down. Whew. Don't talk to me about that other man.
I know. I'm sorry.
It's too much for
Oh.
one night.
Yeah, they're all stunning.
Beautiful.
I think I for sure told Patty this, but when I first started reading 𝗵𝗲𝗀𝗀, I thought it was 𝗂𝗏. I thought it was the same guy.
The bloodline is strong.
Yeah, those genes are strong.
Mhm.
Like those genes are strong.
Or the other way around, whichever one I read first. I read 𝗵𝗲𝗀𝗀 first, but and oh my god, Poppy is like too in her head right now because she's thinking, I'm always teasing Tora about being an awkward dork, but the truth is, I think he really knows what he's doing. I'm making so many embarrassing noises that she's covering her mouth. I'm like, girl, you are such a virgin. Oh my god, stop it already. Relax.
I mean, you can't blame her. I mean, she's shy. She's trying. You know,
it took me like forever to get comfortable with sex, so like I get it, but
yeah.
Yeah. And he knows that she's embarrassed, which is why he goes for the hand. He's like, I want to hear it. I'm like,
yes.
Shut the door, shut the light, shut the door. It's over.
There goes.
And she could have ended it right there and it would have been fine.
Yeah.
You know, it would have been like, yeah, just end it right there.
We all would have lost our minds regardless.
Completely lost,
regardless. This TMI, but my husband literally said the same thing to me all the time in our early days when I was still very refined and, you know, quiet. So.
He knows. Tora knows there's a wild child in there. He knows. And he's like, I'm going to bring it out of you if it's the last thing I do.
And it happened in 𝗪𝗏𝗄. Like he confirmed because she got aroused, and I think him calling her out on it, what his way of validating himself, like, okay.
Oh yeah,
she does find me attractive. She's a little hornhead, just like me. Okay,
how does I just need to coax her? Know he's gorgeous.
I'm just come to the dark side, Bobby. We got dick and cookies.
Oh gosh. And yeah, he grabs her hand, takes it away, and Poppy is like, still got her eyes closed. She's grimacing out of like a surplus of sensitivity. And she's like, ugh. And he's like, all of it. Oh my god. Now he's like licking her collarbone. Oh,
yes. We know where he's headed. We know where he's headed.
If our girl is a bad girl, our man is a boob man. He loves them boobies.
Oh yes. And now we have a close-up of the hand, which by the way is like the best shot ever in every webcomic or movie.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, the return of the sensual hand holding. Thank you, Jesus. We are back.
Oh, and it's against her hair, and there's like just lots of lots of noises. Oh, it's the best. And
then she goes back.
Eileen, you can continue from here.
All right. So we're in the middle of sensual hand holding, and I love this panel so much because Lily is showing their connection, like they are still connected. They're both still in the moment with each other. They're both open to each other, and they still have that connection. And it's something that goes back all the way to the beginning of the comic, because that was their first connection. And he has always made a point of holding her hand because it feels like the most natural thing in the world. And it continues, and it just gets more intimate, you know, as they go by, you know.
Yeah.
And then she goes back to spiraling, and she remembers what Quincey says. And he says he kills people for a living. We both do. And then we have this beautiful shot. Oh my god. That ass girl. Let's take a moment, shall we?
Yes.
And then she says,
let us pray.
And then she says, Tora, wait. And he's like, wait. Like, girl.
Like, listen, there are 2 pieces of cloth between our genitalia, and you're telling me to wait?
Do you remember the scene in 50 First Dates that they're like at the aquarium, and he tells her, like, you know, they're getting blue. And I just feel like he was like this close of telling her, like, girl, like, you have me on bread and water. for for months. Like just let me sip the titty just a little bit. Like let me have this just a little bit. And then she goes back and if caught, what's the penalty? And the penalty is death. And then we get back for sexy time again. For fucking real, Bobby, now. And she goes, yes, now. And obviously the gentleman that he is, he lets her take control again. And it's that dynamic of them giving control to each other when they feel that they need it, to have that trust that you feel safe with the other person enough to stop at such a pivotal moment and say, yes, I need to stop. And he just goes like completely submissive. Like he literally, like he goes completely submissive and he lets her stay on top. And now this is like my favorite part. She goes, Tora, will you be getting more tattoos in the future? And she's like combing his hair. So you can, I feel her like anxious energy, like, Tora, will you be getting more tattoos in the future? And he's kind of like coming out of the sexy haze and he's like, what? Huh?
He's so confused.
And
so it's like he's
and I don't know if Lily did it on purpose, but I love the fact that I think he's kind of obsessed with feet. Like maybe he has a foot thing for her, because I just feel like that hand's kind of like caressing her little feet, and I'm like, oh,
so cute.
Kill me, mama. Don't even. And then he goes, haven't thought of it, maybe. And then she goes for another random question. Do you listen to anything other than metal or rock, like the Beatles? And he goes, Eurodance. Why? And that is such a random thing to say. Like, this mofo hears Eurodance, and I can just picture him like just raging.
Yeah.
In his apartment, in the gym, like hell yeah, go. And then she goes for another question. What's the easiest job you've ever had? And he goes, well, gee, do you really want to know? Well, I had a side gig once as a whore. And then he stops. And I want to get into that. Can we get into that? Do we have time for that? Let's get into that.
We need wrong answers only. We need like a list of every possible wrong answer. A porch sweeper. A porter. A Portugal tour guide.
Portugal tour
guide. A portmanteau maker.
A portal wizard.
Yeah.
Which can check out. I mean, the coochie can be considered a portal, and if he's a portal wizard,
A pork cooker.
A pork cooker. That's true. Also.
Oh, I'm so not good at these games. I can't think of anything.
I can't think of anything. I'm too dirty. I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
My mind is filth. And the thing is, was when I read that, the first thing that I imagined was just like her on a random day at her house, just saying to herself, like, what if I go into 𝗏𝗋𝗋 hamster? Like, what would happen? And then I started, like, I went down the spiral and I said, well, what would be the tags for Tora's profile? I think Tiger Daddy would be one of those.
Oh, for sure. For sure. I could definitely see, like, I think we talked about this before. I was like, I could somewhat see, I know in reality, this would be mortifying for any new bride, but let's fast forward to their wedding day, and Quincey's gift to her slips under is his special work. Here's the DVD.
Oh my God. The other type of DVD, not Goliath's. But
yeah. The good kind
hits,
of DVD.
The greatest hits.
Oh my gosh.
I could see that happening. For sure.
I also see him actually harassing Gil, like, you better erase that shit. Or I'm gonna break
find
your
every
other
copy.
leg. Like every copy of that shit, and erase that from the face of the earth, or I'll break your other leg. It's like they're like, this is the one mistake I do not want getting back to me.
But Lily, for scientific purposes, we would really love one on Patreon.
Yeah.
Just even if it's just a smidget, like one panel that just happened to get away from you.
You
Just
know,
one.
since we're talking about it, I mean, what if we do like another level of Patreon, like the 𝗏𝗋 hamster level?
Ooh.
You know, I will pay for that subscription, girl.
Put some animation in there.
Oh, don't get me any ideas.
But
And then
Poppy doesn't even register this. It like does not.
No, she
No.
doesn't. And that's where you see that she's spiraling, and you know, she's like jumping out all of these questions. And she goes for another one. She says, and what do you think of global warming? And he kind of realizes what she's doing. He's like, what the fuck is this? A forensic investigation? Like,
yeah,
what is it? And
notice
then,
the lighting that changes between these panels. Like when she starts her questioning, that light is just coming in at an angle on them, right? And then when she really starts spiraling, like it goes out, it's gone.
And she's and it's blue, it's somber.
And
then she goes, no, I just want to learn more about, and then you can see her breaking down. And he goes, look up at me, sweetheart, up. Like he has to physically just make her look at him. And when she leaves her,
it's so comforting and loving.
Yeah, because he feels that she's spiraling. She knows. And when, you know, obviously she leaves her face and she's crying. And I think this question
too, which is embarrassing.
She's ugly crying too, which is embarrassing. Like she's really emotional right now. And she goes, and this is her mental rambling that comes to a stop with this question. And I think she asks two questions in this episode that for me are very important. And this is one of them. It says, if Tora is gone, what would it be like for us? And when I read that, I felt that she was, obviously she's talking about all the people in his life that he has made an impression on. But I think when she starts to spiral is because she asked that question to herself.
Yeah.
What would it be like for me if he were gone? And I think Poppy has, obviously we've talked about before about her abandonment issues. And I also think Poppy has at least some level of regret when it comes to the time that she has been able to spend with the people that are important to her, like her dad. Like I feel she has this regret that she couldn't spend a lot of time with her dad to really get to know him. Obviously, she was a kid. She didn't know that her dad was going to pass away. But all of these questions that she's asking is like, I want to know you. I want to, you know, just know you as a person. And I think when she asks, you know, what would it be like if he weren't here for us? What would it be like for me if he wasn't here? And then she starts just all these questions that when you look at it from that perspective, they're important questions.
Oh, yeah.
They're questions that you would ask your significant other in order, or someone that you care about enough to keep in your life. You know, that you don't want them to go away. And then we jump back to him, and he's kind of like a deer in headlights. He's like, oh my God, there are tears and I don't know how to deal with this. And he goes,
they're big crocodile tears, and oh shit.
And then he goes right back to what you said, Patty. He goes back to what he knows how to do best, which is a transactional relationship. So he goes right into it. He says, look, don't worry about it. Your friends are safe. So are you. We got Vincent up your back for now. And, you know, he's going like he's trying to reassure her, but he doesn't understand why she's spiraling.
Yeah. He doesn't think that he, like, I think when we were talking about this, I remember, like, am I a thing worth saving? Am I a thing worth loving? And I don't think he believes that, right? And that's why he continues to see it as like, look, you're going to be okay. Your friends are going to be okay. It's going to be all right. Like, there's no way he believes that he could be included in what's important to her.
So sad.
And then we have the L bomb.
Episode 120. Remember 35.
Episode 120, ladies and
120 is
gentlemen.
the love word.
We got I Love You, Tora. Now, I think this panel took, I mean, this was the plot twist.
Yeah.
For us, because, and for him, because I don't think we ever, I mean, we knew that she was falling for him. We knew that she cared about him. We know that she, you know, likes him. She's attracted to him, but she's so reserved. And it's the irony, because throughout all this comic, we have had more insight into his feelings than we've have had of hers. So it's not only a surprise to him that she just dropped this huge confession, but it's also a surprise for us as readers, because she has been reserved with us as well. She girl has not let it slip, not even one bit.
And I mean,
she
told him not that long ago, I'm not ready.
Because of her trauma.
And it makes me wonder, where exactly is the point in the story where she realizes. Now I'm very curious to find that point where she goes and she admits to herself that is where she's at.
I think it's like pretty clear that her fear of his death is prompting her to say this, because she doesn't know what tomorrow will bring, and how much longer she'll have him for. So she wants to tell him before he, God forbid, dies.
Yeah. And then we jump to his angle, and that's fear.
Oh yeah.
That's
big old dose of fear.
That's fear. And then this is the third thing that is going to come into play in this episode, because now we have another stream of consciousness coming into play, and it's his. But the thing that separates his consciousness from her is that him is just, we are bombarded with images, and all of these images are not positive. They're not good. So it's really sad and tragic, because we see him, the first thing that he thinks about when she tells him I love you is that, oh my God, I am in the notebook. There is shit about me out there.
He's one of the numbered.
He's gonna be numbered. There's shit about me in there. You see cut into his face how he's so frustrated, how he's afraid. And then we see confirmation that his name is actually in the notebook. And then we cut to her and she's like, I need to tell you now, you called it, Mindy, because I don't know if we'll run out of time. So, and you can see, she's honest, and you can see, and this is the amazing thing that they do, how they switch from being the supported to be the support. She sees that he is completely dissociating. And it reminded me of the coffee shop scene where he completely dissociates and blacks out. And I think the difference this time between that, when that happened, and this time is that she is watching in real time his reaction. And she's like, no, you're going to stay with me. You're going to stay with me. No. Stay with me. You're shutting me out. You're closing off. No. Stay. Did you hear me? And she goes, do you hear me? I said, I love you. And she's like, Tora, because she's like, his hands are crunched up.
Yeah. And so they're showing his withdrawal. They were on her face and they were going down, and she's taking them away. She's trying to grab him, trying to keep him there present.
He's so physical, even in his emotional reactions, he's very physical. And I'm telling you, girlfriend was reading him for filth since the moment she came into that room. And she noticed exactly the moment where he started to spiral. And you see that now she's the one that started to spiral, and she's the one that reached the plateau. And she's like, okay, I need to bring him back. And what is the first thing that we see? Little Tora, the baby.
Dinosaur.
And the dinosaur, and then we see a piece of information: 27-year-old man hanged last week. And then another piece of information, we see I think we can safely assume that's a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that's his mom.
Yeah, has to be.
That's his mom.
She
has to be.
She has the family tattoos.
She has the family tattoos, the dark hair.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes, but I don't. Sorry. Listen, I don't think we need to go to the fact that, you know, he loves her. We know he loves her.
Yeah.
Like that's not up for discussion. And if you don't believe that he loves her, I invite you to reread the last 119 episodes.
Yes, please.
He like just bought her a house and sold his cars.
If that's not love, I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
And I feel that what's so tragic about this is that we finally reach a moment where they're both reach the same emotion, but they're coming from completely different perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
I think she feels that her love is a saving grace for him. And in contrapose, he's thinking that his love for her is a damnation.
Yeah.
You know, it's a curse. And for me, is confirmed by his all of this imagery.
Yeah.
That this is coming up.
This is going to be her life if she loves me.
He doesn't want to hurt her.
If she loves me. Exactly. And it's funny because you see him, he sees her future reflected in his mother's past.
Yeah.
And I think that's very tragic and sad because they're not on the same page.
Yeah.
They do love each other, but they're not on the same page.
And they're fearful for different reasons. Like her fear draws her closer to him and his fear pulls him away.
Mm-hmm.
It pulls him away so far. Because like, again, like these last 3 panels before he says that he doesn't, you know, he goes back and I'm reminded of the beach scene, the dream that he has where he's chasing after her and he starts out as a little boy and then he says, but what if I want more? And here's the thing, we're not at the beach anymore. This is real. This is not a dream. She really loves me and I love her too. And welcome back to reality, Tora, because love destroys, love hurts. That's what his blueprint is. Like, this is what he experienced. Like when he talked about his parents in Regina's Peak, or not Regina's Peak, when he talked about them in the Moonbright arc, he was trying to be as detached as he possibly could, because admitting any kind of love or any kind of affection for people who, you know, I think he's got a lot of anger towards his parents, and I'll get into that in my analysis. I don't want to waste our time right now, but I think that, you know, for him, love is a liability. Love is dangerous, and not just because it can destroy Poppy's life, but it would kill him if anything happened to her. If he sees this happen, what happened to his mom happened to Poppy, he would not be able to live with himself at all, ever. And so
the words "I love you" become a trigger.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it sucks because you don't want the person that you love to think about your words as a trigger, you know, for negative. You know, you think that if I tell the person I love that I love them, it's going to be a relief, it's going to be an ecstasy of an abundance of happiness and love. And for him, it's the complete opposite. He goes off the deep end.
Yeah.
He's like, I have no doubt believing that only a handful of people in his life have told him that they love him. His mom, Poppy, you know, and it's a trigger for him because those people are no longer in his life. And it's not, you know, and they're dead.
Yeah. I mean, think about Joe. Every person that he has loved in some way has been harmed by knowing him, right? Like it started with his parents, and then the people around him. Remember in the 𝗤𝗂𝗱 𝗣𝘁𝗀𝗀 episode, and he talks about him and his buddies, you know, and he alluded to the fact that some of them died, you know, and now Joe died. We still don't know the circumstances of that. And I'm sure that feeds into that superstition that you were talking about, Eileen. And, you know, now he's seeing, and I mean, let's be very real right now. If we zoom in on that picture of his mom, she's suffering. She's suffering.
Yeah.
She's a cutter.
Yeah. She's a cutter.
You know?
Yeah.
You know?
I don't think it would be too out of range to assume that, you know, her injuries are from self-harm.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I think, you know, being such a small child, because we can infer that he was taken by Vincent as a small child. So we know that this interaction with his mom was pivotal for him in that relationship, and in his memory of that relationship. And with 𝗤𝗂𝗱 I think this is going to be worse, 100 times worse than 𝗤𝗂𝗱, because in
we thought we heard then.
Yeah, we thought we were heard then, but because we were saying goodbye to the what if, to the could have been, you know, and she even says it like, you know, in spite of everything, I'm happy to have met you. So when they said goodbye in 𝗤𝗂𝗱, they were saying goodbye to what could have been, but it didn't hurt as much because they weren't so involved. But now it's a whole different ball game. And I truly believe that he did not think that she loved him, because in his mind, not up to this point, and not as much as she does. Because in his mind, it's easier for him to deal with his emotions. He can deal with it. Like, he knows he loves her. He admitted to himself, and he can deal with that because it's him, but he can't control her. He can't control her feelings. He can't control her, period.
Right, right. And in a way, like him saying, but I don't, sorry, you know, like he knows her hangups with abandonment and rejection and all of that. And
he went in for the jugular.
It's a fucking low blow, but I get why he does it, right? Like, he is trying to do this. Yeah. He wants to make sure that she leaves.
It's really like, if you don't leave, I'm gonna make you leave.
Yeah. And I'm gonna do it where it hurts.
Yeah. And I think it's so interesting that you said that, because it reminded me of their conversation in her apartment after she was attacked.
Yeah.
That, you know, they acknowledge that they were trying to hurt each other. And she's like, I promise I will be more mindful of not giving you low blows or using your insecurities to hurt you.
Yeah.
And he's doing the same thing for him. But now, obviously, we have her face. Obviously, there's obviously the shock. I mean, the last thing that you expect is for him to say that, at least from her perspective. But here comes the second question that for me is very important. And it's her stream of consciousness that she asks. And she says, what would it be like for him if we were not here?
Oh, I was wondering.
And I think
I was like, I was just rereading it, and like, what would it be like for him? I thought of it, if he was gone, what would it be like for him? So you're saying, what would it be like for him if we were gone?
Yes, that's the way that I interpret it. Because she asked these two questions, but from very different perspectives. She's asking the question, what would it be like for us if he was gone? And she already knows the answer to that.
What would it be like for him if we were all gone?
Exactly. And here is where I think is going to be different than the coffee shop scene, because I think she knows him now enough to know what he's doing and to not take it personally. Because she knows And I think she answered herself this question: what would it be like for him if I were not around, or if the people that he cared about were not around? And I think the fact that she gets so touched by him keeping her hair tie and Joe's guitar, she's starting to see a pattern.
He keeps mementos, not the people.
He keeps mementos, not the people, but those mementos are kind of like the lifeline for his humanity.
Oh, sure.
So
absolutely,
this question that she asks at the end, she's recognizing what it would do to him if the people that he cared about were completely gone. His humanity will be gone. He will cease to exist.
Yeah.
So I think she's hurt. Of course, she's hurt.
Sure.
I mean, it's a rejection. No matter how you look at it, it's a rejection because he's not answering her. He's completely detached right now.
If someone said this to me, I would legit like go cry for 3 hours.
Yeah, me too.
Even if
especially when
it's not real. Oh my God, I would not handle it.
I mean, you just had your head in my boobies, and I just told you that I loved you, and now you're saying, nope, sorry. Of course she's gonna get hurt and she's gonna cry about it and she's gonna feel bad, but I think she's strong enough. What we've been seeing with Poppy's emotional development, she has grown so much in the last few episodes, and I think it's such a beautiful thing to see someone as reserved emotionally as her coming into her power. And I do think she will call him out of his bullshit. I do think she will, but not the way that we are used to seeing her do it.
Yeah.
I think we'll see her trying to take a different approach to his rejection, to maybe, give him the benefit of the doubt.
I think another reason that we know that she knows he's full of shit and that this isn't actually the case. Remember at the nightclub where they were like getting hot and heavy in the nightclub near the fish tank, and he got hurt because she just wanted to have a romp and have it not mean anything.
You're a commitment phobe.
And he got dejected. He's got that same fucking dejected look right now. She knows he's full of shit because he can't even look at her after he said that. You lie, Tora. You fucking lie.
Say it to my face, motherfucker. Say it to my face.
Yeah. So she knows that, like, between them, it's not hit it and quit it. Like, she knows that he's got a history with women, right? Like, if anybody else had gotten this close to his fucking heart, no fucking way. Not a chance, right? Like, we know he's experienced sexually, but man, he is a love virgin, right? So he doesn't know how this goes either, right? All he knows is that blueprint from his childhood.
She popped his emotional cherry with that "I love you."
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Ain't no woman ever fucking told him that and actually meant it.
Poor guy. But, I'm looking at his body language, besides for the dejection, he's completely, his hands are totally off her. They're like down at his side.
Yeah.
Trying to withdraw as much as he can, and away from her. Ugh.
Yeah, he's completely detached right now. Like, she tried her best to keep him connected to her, but it's just too much.
Yeah.
For him right now, like, he could not handle it.
Yeah.
He didn't expect it. Neither did we.
No, God, no. This was not on the bingo card.
But I think he expected it even less.
Oh, I'm sure.
And again, we go back to his transactional relationships because that's what he's used to. And then all of a sudden he's like, he gets thrown an "I love you" that he knows she means it because he knows her. He knows the kind of person that she is, how loyal she is, how caring she is. She knows, and how reserved she is. So deep down, he knows she means it. And he's just not ready. He's not ready for that. He's not there yet. He loves her, of course he does, but he's not willing to step into that ball game and say,
Mhm.
okay, we love each other and we are a team and it's us against the world. He's still not there yet. He's still
Yeah.
in superhero mode. I need to save everyone and I'm just going to get her killed. And this is
Yeah.
just confirmation that I'm going to get her killed.
Yeah.
I should have left. I'm pretty sure she's like, he's like, in his mind, he's like, you fucked her. Like, you let it get this far. You should
Yeah.
have left.
Right. He's like cursing.
And I think, yeah. And
that
I think
person
it's
about him.
beautiful because we see her, he has been like a physical pillar of strength for her in different situations. And now she becomes his emotional pillar of strength. The
Mhm.
constant in his life.
Yeah.
Where he has been the constant in her life. He has been the man in her life who has tried not to lie to her, who has shown her that he's there and that he means it.
Yeah.
And now I think she's going to do the same. She's going to be like, okay, I know you're not ready, but I think I can, I'm
Mhm.
strong enough right now that I can
Yeah.
stand in my power and love you while at the same time allowing you the space to work your
Mhm.
shit out.
Yeah. She's become a lot less impulsive in her negative self-esteem. Right? Like, she's definitely built a backbone based on, the relationship that they've had. Like, he's proven that he knows how to empathize with her. I mean, one of the first things he asked her when she was struggling was, who did this to you? What happened? Right? He didn't blame her. He didn't point the finger. He said, what happened to you? And I doubt anybody in her fucking life ever bothered to ask that question. They were probably all just like, oh, that's just Poppy.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how she is.
Dramatic. She'll cry over anything.
And she's not doing that anymore. Right? Like,
nope.
She's coming into her own, and like, this is why I will fight to the death anybody that comes for Poppy, because I mean, we see that, from the very beginning, we knew that she put that on as a front, and that was her own way from keeping people at a distance, right? Because like, I'm not going to try being real with you if you're not going to give me the same. And we talked about those abandonment issues. I expect people to leave. I expect people to not stick around. So why would I go to those lengths? Why would I go to that depth of a relationship? Right. And now that she has, like, she's not going to back down. Like, she's lost too much in her life. She's like, okay, fine, I'll wait.
I mean, the girl is numbered. She doesn't have a home.
Mm-hmm.
She's
Right.
on the run. I mean, boy, what else do you want me to do? I mean, the last thing I want, I mean, let me have you at least. It's like, what do you have to lose? But for him, it's like, and which is, as I was mentioning before, like, you see that they do love each other, but right now they're on completely different spectrums of that love.
Yeah, I look at it.
I think he will regret it though, not saying it back.
Yeah.
I think that would be one of his biggest regrets.
Well, especially if
not saying it back.
Something dramatic that takes him away from her.
It's okay. He can spend the rest of their lives making it up to her. I will not hold a grudge.
I also want to say, I love the background that Lily's putting in, because throughout the whole episode we've had the zzz noises of like the cars going past, and then here you have the raindrops reflected in the window with gold. It's stunning, gorgeous. I love a setting right with rain. It's just it's so atmospheric, and it enhances the coziness. It's beautiful.
And Lily does a wonderful job at that, setting the tone, and it's almost like the background is a character in and of itself. And this character sets up the whole mood for the storytelling to take place. And it really speaks a lot about her mastery of her craft, not only as a storyteller, but as a visual artist. To be able to create a setting that conveys emotion. He doesn't say anything in his stream of consciousness. It's just pictures, but each and every one of those pictures evokes a feeling. There's a feeling of desperation, there's anxiety, there's hurt, there's shame, and she does that with just a picture. And I don't think that gets talked about enough, you know, just her level of mastery in visual making, you know?
You know what this setting also reminds me of? When I got to this last panel, I was reminded of, I think it's Sacred Garden, 𝗤𝗏, where they're on the floor with the gun next to them and like they're very desperately like making love. It just reminds me of that, like that whole, the coloring and the setting, the tone.
Patty and I are still rooting for that to be canon.
Yeah.
It needs to be. It needs to be.
We are rooting
you
so
know what?
hard.
Regardless of what happens in the comic, that is canon in my heart. It will always be.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous one.
Yeah.
Oh
God.
So obviously we end the chapter on that cliffhanger, and we see him just, you know, completely detached. He can't even look at her. And she's like looking at, it's funny because he's not looking at her and she's like completely focused on him. Like she is still trying to find that connection. Even after his rejection, she's still like, oh my God, like, look at me. Like, no, don't shut me out.
Yeah. It's gorgeous. So what's everyone's favorite panel?
Ooh,
this is like asking me what my favorite book is. I can't do it. There's so many good ones.
I know. I'm also have to look through.
I'm looking.
If I would have to say a favorite panel, wait, I'm going through the 𝗪𝗻𝗃 time, because you know I really have to take them into consideration.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
I think for me, my favorite panel is did you hear me? I said I love you, and she calls his name and she's like trying to grab his hand and she's crying. Because for me that moment means that she understood him, in the sense that she didn't take, you know, she's trying to keep him connected to her. So she's realizing that he's starting to close off. And, you know, her trying to keep him with her, I think is more confirmation for her that I get you, I know you. And it's just like, it goes over his head because, you know, he's like, don't worry, your friends are fine. Everything's fine. You're going to be fine. And she's like, no, you idiot. It's you. I'm worried about you. I fear for you. I'm not afraid of you. I fear for you. Like, I want to get to know you. I want more time with you. It's you. I want you. And he's not catching that. He's flying completely over his head.
Yeah.
Oh, so well said.
That's my favorite panel.
Thank you. Patty, did you get one yet?
Oh God. Okay. So strangely enough, even though I'm the angst queen, like my two favorite panels is where they're like, I had to pick two, I'm sorry. But like my two favorite panels are where he just grabs her face and kisses her, because it takes up the whole fucking screen. And it's just
so good.
Oh yes. And then the moment that he takes her hand and we see both their hands intertwined, like, because it reminded me of the balcony scene, which was like fucking pivotal for me. Pivotal, right? And so it takes us back to those beats from early on in the comic of like, remember how far we've come.
I have a yoga mat with that picture, by the way.
What's up?
Remember, I had a yoga mat printed with that picture.
Oh,
Balcony picture.
I have the balcony hand holding scene. I have a 16x20 print of that because I love it so much. I gave like half of my salary in the first 2 years to Redbubble because I needed some merch. So, oh my God. But yeah, that the hand holding and where he just is like gets the best case of the fuck it's ever. And I'm like, thank God.
Oh, I know there really are so many, and everything you guys said is obviously amazing. I'm gonna go for this one because the one where Tora is revealing his true face and his shock when she affirms, yes, I'm still with you. Because he's so vulnerable and he's allowing himself to feel that feeling. And again, the like disbelief that someone could actually care for him and have faith in him. And I know we're all talking about how like Tora just can't believe it. I do wonder if from here on out he'll start thinking about it, and he'll start shifting his mindset and thinking, wait, no, someone does care for me, and then change his behavior accordingly.
Yeah, hope so. I'm pretty sure we've got a whole other season after this too. So, it's gonna be a rocky road, y'all. And Lily is just gonna take our hearts, put them in a blender.
She's going for the jugular, man.
I know.
She came back as savage, and I'm here for it. Slay me, mama. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready for the bloodshed. But I do think we're gonna get a breakup.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yes.
But if we remember, every time we get a breakup, we get all of these little pockets of tension and romance get thrown in, because you can't stay away from the one you love very long.
No.
Last breakup,
so
2 days later they saw each other after.
So I'm hopeful that we'll get like a very sad breakup, but at the same time we'll get like little pockets of tension and sexy time.
Right, like those little like longing glances. Like I'm waiting for the like we see each other from across the room and we stare and then we avert our eyes when we realize they caught us kind of tension. I need that in my life. Like just
pour me another one and make it a double.
Yes. Give me all the oh my God, I can't stay away from you tension. Yes, I needs it. I wants it.
I whatever. I want them to just be together, but whatever.
We need a little angst, Mindy. We need a little drama.
Done with it. Enough is enough.
I need more. To just lay it on me. I need all the angst.
But I think this was very good. Like this episode, I think is right up there with one of like my favorite episodes, because it was really layered, and it was just so dynamic to see them going back and forth. Like they're already in a relationship and they're so in tune to one another, how they switch from being the one that is supporting to be the one that is supported. So I think they may not realize it, but I think this cemented a lot of that baseline for their relationship. That maybe was a little bit crooked because the truth was not all there. And now it is. So now it's like, okay, now we are laying the foundation of what we're going to build on top of this, whatever it is.
For sure.
And we have to wait for the moment that he says I love you. That's going to be a dramatic episode too.
Oh my God. I mean, we were expecting him to be the first.
All right.
And now, she switched up on us.
Well, and I kind of wonder, because like, again, he's not a man of words, but like, I wonder how he'll do it. I do wonder.
Probably be in a very like moment where she's like about to die or something.
I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure she'll go like, really? Now? You're gonna choose now to say this shit to me?
Oh, and he'll have to
Took you
Seriously?
fucking long enough.
he'll quote her and he'll say whatever she said, I want you to know before, whatever time runs out.
And she'll go the
Oh,
same thing
God.
that she did here. She'll be like, well, I would have been afraid of you if you hadn't, hit me with that cheese line. I'm thinking that she's gonna be the same, like, oh, now you love me? Oh, shocking. Imagine my shock.
Mm-hmm.
But it works for them. Like, he loves that.
It's funny.
Yeah.
I hope Poppy feels that. I remember it's thinking about it, just kind of reminds me of my father has never verbalized I love you, but he makes it very clear in his actions. He's always like buying us presents and getting us food. So it's interesting. Like Tora is like that too. Like he doesn't verbalize it, but I hope Poppy realizes, with his actions that he does care for her.
Yeah. Listen, they have already exchanged friendship bracelets in the Taylor Swift era. They are married, god damn it. This is already set in stone. Sir, you don't need to say I love you yet, because you know what? It's already there. We already know it's there.
And if you look at the breadcrumbs, I mean, now when she said I love you, I started to say, oh, this sneaky little bitch. She has been grabbing all those little breadcrumbs all throughout the comic.
She knew.
All these little comments that he made, it made me think about their conversation in her apartment after she gets attacked, that she hears him talking to Gio, and Gio is like, what do you mean you told her everything? And she tells him, like, I told her enough not to get dumped. And she hears that. So she's like, oh, he's assuming that we're in a relationship. And he verbalized it almost before to her, like, oh, if we were to become a and he gets kind of like
he can't say it.
And he's like, can't say it, but she's like, until we become what? Like, she does that very well, playing dumb, but like she's a little computer. She's gathering data. And she's putting all of that into the back of her mind, and she's making a spreadsheet in Excel, and she's like, okay, so I got this and I got that, and he rescued me from a fucking tree when he didn't know me, and he did this and he did that, and he said this and he said that. And now looking back at it, I'm like, this little sneaky little shit.
She's got her own karmic spreadsheet. She's like, listen, you may be tallying up all the things you've done wrong with your life, but I've only known you for like 2-3 months, and here are all these wonderful things that I know about you. I call bullshit. I love
bullshit, and I love you. You're still a jerk. Like he says, oh, look at him being a butthole, even in the depths of despair.
I know.
And she's like, okay, I'm gonna stick around until he opens up. And it's kind of like a reverse thing in Moonbright, because in Moonbright she shut off. She asked him a question, and she thought that he was dissociated, and then when he realized that she was shutting off, he was like, no, I'm gonna answer you, but I might need a bribe first. And he got her to open up again. So I think this time around, she's gonna do the switcheroo on him.
Oh yeah.
He's the commitment phobe now.
Yeah, I want to go back and reread that now. Well, ladies, this was super fun. We've been here for 2 hours. So
oh my God.
Yes.
Yes, this was fantastic.
Not the 4 we projected, so
yeah, I thought we were going to be here like a lot more, but I'm very happy. And that I was able to talk to you guys, and for Mindy as well, to create such a lovely space, and that we can just sit here and talk, and like we've known each other. And it's amazing to have like these little pockets of space where we can really appreciate the art and the story, because it really is so beautiful, so I'm very happy, and I'm very honored that I got invited.
Thank you.
Hopefully it won't be the last time.
Better not be.
Happy to have you again, and it was really such a pleasure to hear your insights. You're fantastic, very deep, very profound, very articulate, and you're expressing so beautifully. So I'm so happy that you agreed to come on.
Thank you.
All right.
And Patty, as always, we all love you.
It's fine. This was the Eileen show today. It's okay. We had to
I know,
make it
I'm
good.
sorry. I'm
It's
a Gemini. Talking out of my ass is my superpower. I'm sorry.
It's don't apologize. Don't apologize. This is why I wanted you on this episode with me.
Yeah. Well,
thank you for letting me vent.
Sure.
and
for the
listening
next
to
one,
my
there's
brain.
a bunch of open slots, so
We'll do it. We'll do it more. Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
thank you so much. Have a great night.
You
And
too, guys. Have a great
Bye.
time.
Thank you to my current patrons, Lily, Molly, Veronica, Emily, Joe Rochelle, Salty Tuggles, Ann Rose, Alexa, Misty, Joanne, Esther, I'm Watching You People, Emily, Jean, Kay, Lily, Beckett, Christine, Sadie, Teresa, Mrs. Castaldo, Amapora, Ruby, Sophia, and Serena. Your support is truly appreciated.